The history of the Luhrs family in Phoenix replicates the history of the city itself. It started in the late 1860s when 31-year-old wheelwright George H.N. Luhrs immigrated to the States from Germany. After living for years in the booming gold mining center of Wickenburg, Luhrs moved to Phoenix in 1878. He and his partner in a blacksmith and wagon-making business found plenty of work in the valley, saved their money, and bought a chunk of land at Central and Jefferson for $1,066. By 1884, the pair owned some of the most valuable real estate in the city, including on the block where the Luhrs complex now sits. George Luhrs built his home on the site, and his wife Catherine gave birth there to 3 of their 4 children. In 1895, George Luhrs Jr. was born, and in his early 20s would eventually curtail his career in law when his father's health began to fail. By then, El Paso architectural firm Trost & Trost had drawn up plans for what would become known as the Luhrs Building, as 2 buildings in one. The lower floors for office space and the top 4 floors for the elite male Arizona club, where it would be housed for 47 years. The club's 7th and 8th floors had bedrooms for club members, and most were equipped with a bath or shower. The 9th floor had a fireplace, library, billiards room, and at times, slot machines. The 10th floor was a showcase with its dining rooms of 22-foot tall arched ceiling, crystal chandeliers, and unprecedented views of the valley. The cost of the Luhrs building, with its profusion of marble and other frills, was roughly $553,000. It opened to great fanfare on April 1, 1924, with office rents ranging from $15 to $45 a month. Mr. and Mrs. George Luhrs proposed an investment aggregating approximately $2 million for a 17-story building to be built next to the original building, but was changed due to finances. In 1929, ground was broken for the Luhrs Tower, which stands today as a striking monument to the wheelmaker who came from Germany so long ago. As it must to all men, death came to George Luhrs on May 4, 1929. Mr. Luhrs gave generously of his time to civic service, was elected a member of the City Council in 1883, a member of the Board of Commissioners of the Territorial Asylum, a member of the Old Phoenix Board of Trade, and in 1902, he served as a member of the Board of Trustees of the Phoenix High School. With the passing of George H.N. Luhrs, Arthur, Ella, Emma, and George Luhrs Jr. continued the Luhrs developments under the leadership of their mother. As construction began on the Luhrs Tower, Luhrs Jr. again chose Trost & Trost to design the new building, and the architects devised a plan dissimilar to the fairly standard Luhrs building. The balance of the building is provided with cement stucco and has symmetrical setbacks at the 8th and 11th floors. On October 22, 1929, the Luhrs Tower opened to the public. Unfortunately, George Luhrs Sr. would never see his masterpiece completed. The Luhrs Tower is a 14-story Art Deco masterpiece and stood as the tallest building in the Southwest for decades. This timeless office tower combines striking Art Deco styling with regional Southwest and Spanish colonial influences. The building contractors went broke while working on the 6th floor, and problems caused the original plan to be pushed back. In 1948, marble fronts were added to the Luhrs building, Luhrs Tower, and to the Jefferson Street frontage. This same year, the Luhrs Arcade was started, which, when completed in 1950, connected the Luhrs building and the Luhrs Tower with a 9-foot marble and aluminum corridor, with offices opening on both sides. In 1950, a 2-story addition was made to the south of the Luhrs Tower. In 1955 to 56, the Luhrs Central building was entirely rebuilt into the same decor as the Luhrs building, tower, and arcade. A self-operating elevator was installed and offices opened in the lower level. In 1955, automatic elevators were installed in the Luhrs Tower, and in 1957 in the Luhrs building. In 1958, the 6th-level, 500-car capacity Luhrs Parking Center was opened on the corner of First Avenue and Madison for the use of tenants and customers. The Luhrs children, George Luhrs Jr., Ella Luhrs Taylor, and Emma Luhrs, managed the Luhrs Building, Tower, Arcade, Central Building, and Parking Center up until 1974 when the family finally sold the business. In recent years, Luhrs City Center has enjoyed approximately $10 million in capital improvements. This has modernized the development of a creative office environment with red brick interiors, exposed beams, and similar features that have helped to attract a mix of office, tech, and law tenants. Luhrs City Center offers direct access to Phoenix Light Rail, Cityscape, the Phoenix Convention Center, Arizona State University downtown campus, Chase Ballpark, the Maricopa County Court Complex, and approximately 30 restaurants within a 2-block radius. In December of 2015, Lincoln Property Company and Invesco purchased the historic Luhrs City Center. The joint venture initiated a multi-million-dollar renovation that evolved the landmark into a mixed-use blend of creative office space, ground-floor restaurants, and retail, part of a downtown resurgence that includes an active office market, thriving restaurants, sports venue, and the early 2017 delivery of the 19-story Marriott Residence Inn and Courtyard Hotel Tower. Another historical piece of Luhrs City Center would be 82-year-old Tony Verdugo, who has been cutting hair in the Luhrs Tower since 1967. Over the years, the Bisbee native has been the barber to legends including governors, community leaders, and baseball's Dizzy Dean, who spent his winters in Arizona. Tony Verdugo lived at the Luhrs Hotel in the mid-1960s, barbering during the day and tending bar at the hotel at night. A phone in his shop connected directly with the Arizona Club switchboard upstairs, and he occasionally rushed there to cut the hair of a busy businessman for a nice tip. To this day, Tony Verdugo can be found cutting hair in the Luhrs Tower on the 8th floor, holding the longest record for being a Luhrs tenant for 50 years straight. Although the Phoenix skyline has drastically changed over the decades, Luhrs City Center still proudly stands tall, serving as the first skyrise of Phoenix. As you join us today, you will realize that Luhrs City Center is a representation of not only the historic past behind us, but the ever-changing future of the downtown Phoenix metro.
My name's Tony Verdugo. I own this barber shop here. I started working in 1967. That's 47 years ago. This was one of the best buildings around then. A lot of people don't even realize how nice a building this is.
We still have all of the amenities and the great location of being downtown, but we have a building that is so much more unique and has so much more character than some of the big buildings. Uniformly, people are commenting on how interesting our finishes are and how impressive our space is. It's been fantastic. Honestly, the landlords here are just terrific.
Downtown Phoenix is the closest for me for that big city feel, and it's definitely going with the right direction with Cityscape and the light rail all coming into phase with the connection to the airport, so it's got that accessibility. And Luhrs City Centre is just in the heart of it all, really. The flexibility, I'd probably say, of the management. They are just really wanting to get interesting, one-of-a-kind concepts to downtown, and they're willing to work with anyone who's bringing great ideas to the table.
I think eventually this place is gonna start booming again, this area. Yeah, I like it here.